Hello, I'm Beck. Welcome to my channel. Today you'll be seeing me develop and draw the character Gaz for my webcomic series, of which I have drawn exactly one panel. And I've done a bunch of scripts, but other than that I've lost momentum. So in future videos you will see me drawing the panel itself, and that will be very exciting. Hopefully by then I've done more panels and I'll have posted them on my website and you can maybe click through them. We'll see. Who can say what the future holds? Only that I only work on these things when I feel like it. So yeah. Anyway, Gaz, the character of Gaz. We've already done Frankie and Petra and Mabel. Gaz is a goblin, and if she was playing D&D, she would be playing a wizard class because she has decided to learn magic. She wasn't born with magic, it's not inherent in her body, but she has grown up where there's been a lot of oppression around her species of goblin. There is an overwhelming bias that goblins are like law-breaking, evil, usually minions. They're usually seen as like easy to beat, and a lot of people think that they're like bullyable, like they have the right to bully a goblin. And so not only did she decide to take up wizardry to like learn magic to defend herself, but she has a very strong rebellious spirit. She's very much a damn the man kind of person, and she does not tolerate seeing anyone being oppressed, especially if they're being oppressed by like someone who's always had power, who's always had privilege, who doesn't even know what it's like to be treated as less than just because of like what you are, not even who you are. So yeah, I feel like she's a very relatable character. She's usually a bit of a lovable scamp. She likes to have fun. She likes to stir the pot. And really just like make people question their assumptions, even if it ends up being like their assumptions are correct. She just wanted them to like, you know, double check their thinking and like maybe come to the realization that just because you think something doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. Now, Gaz has a big family. She has a lot of brothers and sisters. She has a lot of cousins. She has a lot of aunts and uncles that are the result of like her parents also both having lots of brothers and sisters. And they grew up pretty poor. And a lot of this, again, has to do with like some of them do crime. Like some of them are criminals, but it's less that they're nefarious characters and more that it's that like system of poverty where like the goblins can't get hired for legitimate work because they have this like image of being criminals, and so they have to do crime in order to pay for anything because there's no other option because they can't get a job. But that feeds into the correct but unfair assumption that like all goblins are evil, criminal, minion, like idiot type people. But like a lot of her brothers and sisters are kind of dodgy characters. Some of them are really trying to make an honest go of it. I think she has like at least one sibling who's trying to be a librarian or something like that. Someone who's always trying to open a legitimate business, but maybe they take less than legitimate investments from various family members and friends. I feel like you could get really like just tell a whole story around the world that she's come from, but she chose to become an adventurer and join this group of people because they accepted her and they encourage her to like speak out and educate people. And especially I think she's got a close relationship with Frankie, because Frankie, being like a religious character, but not the kind of religious character that condones judging people and judging the way people live their lives. Frankie's all about supporting people wherever they find their joy. And so she probably met Gaz at a time where Gaz was not particularly joyous, and maybe tried to help her and encouraged her to like go along with her on adventures where they could do honorable deeds of like slaying monsters that were causing havoc in a town or whatever, and then they get paid for that. or they find treasure and they're like accumulating wealth in a way that it's like it's hero's work. So she's gone into the heroic track of things, which is a path less traveled for a goblin because they are very small and they're quite weak, and she's no different. But again, that's why she went into wizardry. And I think perhaps Frankie might have helped her a lot in like accessing wizard spellbooks, because there might have been an issue of like other goblins haven't gone into any kind of magical area because they are like maybe not banned from libraries and things, but certainly the areas of a library that has restricted information where you maybe need to be a student at a particular wizard school in order to access those textbooks. But in order to go to that wizard school, you need to be quite rich because you have to pay to go to wizard school. That kind of thing. So she and Frankie are going to be like best friends. And they are also kind of opposite, where Frankie wants people to like be happy. Gaz, she doesn't want people to be unhappy, but like I said, she wants people to like question the world that they live in and maybe notice that there are other people who are being oppressed, because usually the most happy people are the people who experience no oppression and don't realize that that is a privilege. This is someone who wants people to recognize their privilege, and that's usually quite an uncomfortable conversation to have with someone. So, yeah. But when she goes on these adventures, I think she shares the treasures that she gets with her family as best she can. Some of them are too proud to accept just like a handout, but like maybe she hires people from her family to do like stuff she doesn't really need to hire someone for, but just like as an excuse to give them money. So like she might pay her mother to cook because her mother doesn't want to be given money. She'll say like, oh, our whole adventuring party, we don't know how to cook and we're so hungry. Oh no, what shall we do? And the mother's like, well, I can cook for you. And she's like, well, I'll pay you for it because I don't want your charity either. That sort of thing. In case you're wondering what I'm doing here, you might have seen on the previous videos if you watch the previous videos, but if you're just watching this first one, I'm not just lining up 3 naked versions of Gaz. It's kind of like a dress-up doll situation where part of my process of figuring out the character is to dress them in different scenarioed outfits. So like you have her regular outfit, which I'm doing now, and then I like to do sleepwear and formal wear, just because like what someone chooses to sleep in says something about who they are. Like that's how they dress when they don't expect anyone else to see them, or at least like she lives with the rest of the adventuring party, they're her roommates, but like when she's at comfort, when she's not putting on like this is my persona to the world, when she's just hanging out like getting ready to be asleep. That's the sleepwear. So like what she chooses to wear there says a little something about her. Obviously what she chooses to wear when she's presenting herself to the world is the most expressive of what a character is about, because it's what they've consciously chosen to say like, here I am, this is me. And so like here we have like torn clothing, spiky things on the wrist, like, you know, your classic rebel stuff where it's like, don't start a fight with me, even though she's so small. And like most other creatures in this world are a lot stronger than her, she's giving off that vibe of like, I'm dangerous, stay away from me. Especially like that animal kingdom thing of like bright colors indicating that you're poisonous, dangerous. There's a little bit of element of that in there as well, with her like bright purple hair and stuff. Likes to wear the comfy shoes. She's not really a high heel kind of gal. Maybe if it's formal, but even then it's like only if they're sharp, I guess. I think when I get to the formal wear part of this, I might have tried different options. I definitely wanted her to be wearing something where she felt like she could kick someone. Like, I think one of her priorities whenever she wears anything is like, how easily can I kick someone? Because what her like hip length kick would probably be in line with a lot of people's either kneecaps or crotches, depending on what species they are. So yeah. And yeah, so her sleepwear, unlike say Mabel has like very specific pajamas that she likes to wear because she has been raised in like that more formal setting. Gaz's sleepwear is literally just what she was wearing outside that day, but without the like accessories and pants. Like she's just underwear and t-shirt kind of goes to bed, and that way if she has to get up quickly and go out quickly, she's just pulling on a pair of pants and going. Yeah, and then the formal wear, she dresses up a little bit, and I think she gets a little bit of sparkle on. Like, she's not afraid to be perceived. She likes to stand out. She likes people to notice her. She's not the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm the only goblin at this fancy formal party. I hope no one notices me. She's more the thing of like, I'm the only goblin at this party. Everyone better notice that I'm here. Let's normalize this. Goblins deserve to be in places. So, yeah, this is... I think it felt too formal making it a suit. I'm pretty sure I changed this in a second. But, yeah, doing the different vibes of each character really helps get in that, like, headspace of, like, what's her life like? What does she do? How does she, like, plan when a special occasion is coming up? Does she have one outfit that she'll just wear to all the special occasions, or is she like, I need to buy a new outfit for this thing? In Gaz's case, I think she just has one outfit that she will wear, unless it's the kind of thing where Mabel like twists her arm and takes her shopping, because Mabel would be the kind who gets a different outfit, very similar in style, but she wants to have like the latest fashion because she was sort of raised to believe that you can't wear last season's clothing at this season's gala kind of thing. Oh yeah, and so yeah, she is wearing heels. They might make her ever so slightly taller, but in a pinch, you'll notice that like she's no longer wearing spikes around her wrists. So if she needs to stab someone, she's got her shoes available. That said, she would, like, when they are going on adventures, she would have weapons. She would have probably some sort of pistol. I was going to say knives, but maybe throwing daggers. She's a wizard, so she usually tries to stay away from direct combat when she can. I feel like I should mention, because my comic is set during the downtime of the adventurers' lives, that I haven't drawn them with like things that they would specifically need during their adventures. For example, Gaz is a wizard, so she would need to have at least one of her spell books with her, and she'd probably need like a wand or a staff or something. That's her like spell casting focal thingy. I'm very articulate today, but I think that maybe she would probably have something that's just wearable, so she can cast spells whenever she wants to, and she doesn't need to be physically holding a spell book as she's memorized the spell. But for other characters, you particularly say Petra, who's barbarian, she would have like a big axe hammer type thing that she'd strap to the back of her wheelchair. I didn't draw that in because during downtime she wouldn't carry it around. So it's those kind of details where I have considered it, but I haven't maybe articulated it very well yet. This is Gaz. It's just on the screen now. This is Gaz. I hope you like her. With regards to, like, I am making this webcomic completely wrong. There are a lot of tutorials out there and from experienced webcomic creators who have said things that are very, very clever, like you should plan out like the full story arc of at least one season of your comics before you even start, so that you know where the story is going. My particular story, I have written out a lot of scripts that has had like just a little character arc for, I'd say 2 of the characters. But it's an ongoing thing, more like sort of Friends or How I Met Your Mother, which of course those shows ended, but it's more about the interpersonal lives of the characters than it is about like them going on a specific journey where they're trying to get like from point A to point B, and like you're watching how they do that. Hope that makes sense. But hopefully you're enjoying these. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you would like to see the next step of the magical journey of making webcomics wrong. Yeah. Okay, bye.